What's up guys, my name's Technobo here for Troubleshoots, and today I've got an amazing video for you if you create video or need screenshots of web pages. If I go to something like wikipedia.org, you can see that if I take a screenshot of something using any software, and then open it up, if I zoom in, you can see that it gets very pixelated very quickly. Usually to the left is an orangey reddish tint, and to the right is a blue. So that occurs because the screenshot is not of a very high resolution. Usually you might zoom into the web page to try and make your screenshots a bit higher quality, but if you're going to zoom into them quite far in something like a video editor or a presentation or anything for that matter, then it can get very pixelated very quickly. So there's a simple way to fix that. You'll need Firefox. Unfortunately, Chrome doesn't have this feature, or I don't think they plan to add this feature in the future. Hit Ctrl+Shift and I, and then you'll see this pop up at the bottom. At the very bottom is a set of blue greater than signs. Simply click next to them. Now if we enter :SCR, you can see that it types out screenshot for us. Just hit tab and it will autocomplete that. Otherwise you can type it out yourself. Space. And now we can enter some more things. So if we do -- full page and hit enter, it takes a screenshot of the entire web page, and you can see that it saves to your downloads folder by default. So if I go ahead and open that up, you can see that here's an image of the full page. Of course, if we zoom in, it does get pixelated quite quickly. So before we get into fixing that, there's another command, which you can add to the end of this or replace full page for that matter, by entering clipboard. When you hit enter, it won't save to a file, it instead saves to your Windows copy-paste or Mac copy-paste. So if I go ahead and open up something like MS Paint and paste it in, you can see that here is the image pasted. If we get rid of the full page argument, so simply hit up to get to your previous command, get rid of full page, hit enter, and then paste it into MS Paint, you can see that it only screenshots what is visible. So let's say you want to screenshot just one element, such as the Welcome to Wikipedia block up here. Simply right-click on it and click Inspect Element. Now you'll see it highlights something here where all of the code is, and if you hover over it, it'll highlight things on the page above. Simply go to the line that's highlighted, hover over it, and head up until you're happy with what you're going to screenshot. The blue box is what you're going to screenshot. So I'll click this line over here, which highlights the Welcome to Wikipedia and a bit of space around it. And that is where things get a little bit confusing. If you see an ID equals, such as here, ID equals test, double click on test, hit Ctrl+C and copy it. If there isn't an ID, then you might see a class. Simply double click the text inside of the inverted commas and copy that. There might be multiple elements on the page with the same class, so preferably use ID when you have it. Next, at the bottom, click next to those greater than signs, enter :SCR, tab, space, -- selector, and then in two inverted commas, paste what you copied. If you copied it from a class, before your text, enter a full stop. If you copied it from ID, enter a hash. So I copied this test text from a class equals up here. So I'll enter a full stop. And if I hit enter, you can see that it screenshots the page. And if I go to my downloads, there's a screenshot of just this element. If there are multiple elements on the page with the same class, then it will take a screenshot of the first one that appears. So let's say that inside of class, there are multiple things. There can be different things separated by a space. Simply copy the most unique looking one, or just hope that it works. Otherwise, if you don't want to do that, let's just say that this element does not have an ID. It can or cannot have a class, doesn't matter, because we're going to be giving it a unique ID. Simply right-click on the element, edit as HTML. The first letter should be a smaller than sign, followed by 2 to 3 to even more letters, usually div or p for paragraph, etc, etc. What you want to do is click next to that first set of words, press the spacebar, type in ID equals, followed by 2 inverted commas, and inside of it, let's enter something unique like AAA. Simply click somewhere else in here that isn't inside of this block, and it'll set. Now that we've done that, we can simply click next to these greater thans at the bottom, hit the up arrow to get to the previous bit of text, and we can enter inside of the selectors inverted commas, we can enter hash AAA, hit enter, and it'll screenshot just that element. So now for the more interesting part, now that we've got through all of the basics, how to capture higher quality screenshots. So let's hit up again, press the spacebar. Now we'll enter 2 hyphens followed by DPR and then a number. So this will be a multiplier based on the resolution of your screen. So if I have a 1080p screen and I enter 2, it'll be 2K. If I have a 4K screen and enter 2, it'll be an 8K image. Because we're screenshotting such a small element here, that is only 308 by 81 pixels, I'll enter a DPR of, say, 10. That should give us an image that's 3080 pixels wide, 810 pixels high. Hit enter, and it will usually take a while to screenshot if you're taking a high DPR screenshot of a rather big element on the screen. Heading over to the downloads folder, we have another image. And as you can tell, if I open up a previous one, it is already a lot bigger. Zooming into a previous one, you can see these obvious outlines. However, zooming in on this new image that we took, we can zoom in for quite some time before we even start to see the borders of the pixels. So this is a much higher resolution screenshot that you should use when you're editing, putting it into a Word document or anything else that you want it to be nice and blown up without being pixelated. Now, of course, this isn't magic. If there's an image on the page and it's not in a vector format, usually .svg, it means that it's not drawn by your computer and cannot have the quality increased. However, there are images known as vector images. Raster images are ones taken by a camera that consist of pixels. Vector images consist of mathematical equations and things like that, basically letting your computer draw out a bunch of shapes and sticking them together. Those are a little bit more rare, but are still very common on the internet. Those you can take screenshots of infinite quality and you'll never see any pixels if you take one that's high enough, just because you can squeeze as much quality out of it as you want. So I hope that really helps improve your workflow and makes your screenshots look a hell of a lot better. Unfortunately, it does only work in Firefox. Hopefully Chrome adds something similar in the future, but at least we can still do it. So my name's been Technoba, here for Troubleshoot. I hope it's helped you guys, and I'll see you guys around. Ciao.